What now being with the Raiders, what do you feel like you've learned since your first stint with Denver as a head coach and now getting another opportunity with Vegas?
You got to do it your own way. And I think when I left the first time, there was such I didn't have a lot of wisdom about how to do it other than what I had seen. And what I had seen was great, but you just can't go somewhere and just replicate that immediately. That's impossible. You know what I mean? And I was trying to do things that I had witnessed, but it just really, that doesn't necessarily fit, especially when you're 32, So I made a lot of mistakes myself and really the time that was really important for me was when I was done in Denver in 10 and then taking, the number of years that I did to kind of go back through and say, okay, this is how I handled that. This is what I would do now.
Yeah.
And just really kind of look at it and say, okay, I know what I have to do the next time if I ever get one, if I'm blessed to have a shot at it. And it's just got to be authentic and it's got to be you. And I have a different personality than Bill and, and Mike and everybody else. And so you just got to be yourself. And I've learned how to do that more. I'm much more at ease, distributing things to the guys that are around me. I have a great support staff and they handle all their stuff. The coaching staff does a great job. And I try to manage the team from the head coach position through my own spirit and, how I interact with them every day. So, I'm happy with what we're trying to do. I'm at peace with it, and I know it's authentic.
When you look back, who are some coaches or mentors or people like when you are looking back at situations like you can go this way, or guys that you just picked their brain and was kind of like there with you when you were trying to figure out the next step when that next opportunity would come?
Yeah, there was a lot of people that you had an opportunity to kind of like see as you were going, and I remember Tony Dungy spent a lot of time. I haven't talked to Tony in a while in that regard, but Tony spent a lot of time talking to me, when I was in St. Louis, right after the Denver situation, just about, looking inside yourself and evaluate everything you did, A to Z, and try to figure out like, is that really what you want to do the next time or not, and there's many other people that were great during that process, including Bill, because I asked Bill some things and he understood the scenario. You got to be you and be yourself and do what you believe in, but do it your way.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, though, he brought up
journalism.
He brought up Tony Dungy. He has a phenomenal book. I forget what it's called, but I did read in college, and he had a lot of. Seems like he'd be a good mentor to sit with and talk to about all that kind of stuff.
He did a great job of giving me some advice.
What happened with the Colts? You're about to go to the Colts. The rumor is, which obviously people know of the rumors of like, oh, he went back to New England because he's just going to be the coach in waiting when Bill leaves and all that. Like, I feel like everybody knows that's not.
I feel like it's a two-part question though. Like, what happened with the Colts, and were you the coach in waiting?
No, the second part, no. That was never part of any conversation that I was a part of. It just, that process, as we all know, is a little bit different. When you're done with a season. And then you go into that interview process and it's so quick, especially when you're still playing. And you don't get as much time to really devote to that whole thing as you really want, And so I interviewed with a few teams that year while we were in the playoffs. I think it was during our bye. I think we had the bye. And, you're trying to balance that with, getting ready to play your most important game of your season. And ultimately try to compete for a championship. And so, I just felt like as I kind of closed the loop there, we went to Minneapolis for the Super Bowl, was still kind of going through that process in my own mind. It just, at the end of the day, didn't feel like it was the right decision, and I know the timing was awkward, awful, I didn't want to do that to anybody either. That was something that I regret in that regard. But I didn't feel like just because the timing was bad, I should go ahead and make a bad decision that I thought wasn't good for me or them. You know what I mean? Right. And so, unfortunately, it played out the way it did. I think we're probably fortunate. Like Frank went there and did a great job, obviously. And, I stayed where I was and tried to continue growing and overcome that as best I can.
It's like it sounds like it's like you're in the interview process. You're excited. Yeah. You're going to get another opportunity. Not saying that there's anything bad that goes on in Indianapolis, but you get time to do more due diligence, whatever it may be, and whatever loose ends don't get tied up. You're like, this kind of sucks. I got to kind of go back. But it seems like this was the better opportunity to go back to New England.
It was the right decision for me. Again, like I said, I don't think that it was the easy decision.
Yeah.
You know, I certainly took my share of flack, deservedly so, for the timing of it. And I regret that, you know what I mean? Because I have a great deal of respect for Chris, Mr. Irsay. You know, the people that I met through that process were great to me. So, again, that was on me.
Obviously that happened, and then now you're here,
Mhm.
the Raiders. What are you looking at that roster, brother? You guys are fucking stacked.
You're missing
You guys-
one. You're missing one piece, but
You're
yeah,
missing
boy.
a core 4 linebacker.
you're missing a
Oh,
core
Lord,
four.
there we-
Organized offensive
all right,
lineman.
there we go.
Three core special teamer, but
What are you guys weighing nowadays? Look at you, huh?
See?
Oh, look at
You
you.
see the fucking arms coming
Oh
out of
my
this man
God.
right
I
here?
didn't hit a putz there, right? We can do a little workout in this room if you need
No
to.
question. There's enough room in here too. Will
Yeah.
can work in a phone booth.
Yeah.
I think Dave's done a good job of really, you know, when you come to a new place, you're trying to figure out, you know, who's there that fits your vision of how you want to play. That isn't an easy process to go through. And every time there's a change, there's ultimately potential changes that are going to take place on the roster, the staff, et cetera, because it's just not the right fit for how you see defense or offense or special teams. And so, you know, we've had an opportunity to do such over 18 or 19 months here. We've changed over a decent chunk of the roster, you know, and that happens to every team.
Mhm.
But I think we've added competition at most of the spots that we wanted to try to do that in. And right now we're having a competitive camp. Today was a competitive practice, you know, and, you know, we're going to keep trying to push that as much as we can. But I think what we've done is we've added some younger players and some players from outside that we feel like have a chance to fit us really well. And now we're trying to blend them together.
Dude, how awesome is wearing the silver and black?
Awesome.
Dog,
awesome.
It is the coolest colors.
It is. It's the,
And
I
the
remember
move to Vegas.
first
Like,
time I saw the uniform last year when we came out for pregame warmups, you know, in the Hall of Fame game, I'm like, this is that uniform
Yeah.
that I've
Yeah,
thought about
bro.
like for years and years and years. You saw all these Hall of Fame players wearing it, and you're like, this is a bad uniform.
Dude, it really is. I think we did a tier talk, which is one of our segments on the show, and it was like that is I
coolest
think that was
jerseys.
across the board, the best uniform.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, everybody kind of like the silver helmet, the black jerseys.
Yes.
Just
You
it
get to
just looks
sneak- you get
cool.
to sneak a little darker visor every
Yeah,
now and
it's
then.
just-
Are you
it's
guys
really
doing
cool.
a little anything different this year? Because I know there's a lot of the
With the helmets?
retros coming out, but like, are you
Uh,
guys doing
our
anything
uniform?
unique? Yeah,
No,
nothing.
no.
Not like you have
I don't
to
think we
do,
need
man.
to.
You really
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
have to. Yeah,
don't
Maybe
need
you
to.
just wear the old
Spice it
school
up once in a
helmets.
while.
Ours hasn't changed radically from what it was.
Yeah.
I think what we're seeing now is a lot of the teams that have like gone through changes are now like trying to like bring back the retro version of what they're wearing.
Right.
Yeah,
We have the same one.
Yeah.
and it
You know what
goes
I mean?
hard.
Basically.
Yeah.
Raiders should ultimately like open up the sleeves, wear like the single bar helmets, just bring
T-bar. Bring the
yeah.
T-bar
You gotta
back.
tape your fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
Just
gloves
do it.
allowed.
I just saw Fred Biletnikoff the other day at our preseason game, and we were talking about that because I mean back then he was wearing that stuff.
Yeah.
That was it, and stick
Yeah.
them, and you know all that stuff was in vogue. So